Welcome back. Welcome back to Beautifully Seasoned. I am so glad you decided to join me today. You know I got something to talk to you today about. But you know what? Before I start, please share this podcast, this YouTube message with your family and friends. You know how I feel about this if you've been listening to me. This is something that I really want to share with you, and things and bits of wisdom that I might have, even conversations that I might have that I feel that I just want to share with you. So please share it with your friends. Please share the podcast Beautifully Seasoned. And I appreciate your support. And don't forget to subscribe. I do not even say that. But please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and pass the word. Pass the word. Okay. So today I want to talk about, I want to talk about comparison. The comparison trap. We're going to escape that trap of comparison. And you know what? I must say, I am at fault too. I compare. I do compare myself with others sometimes. And so I want to talk about that because that's not healthy, and it's more relevant in the society right now than almost anything. And let's break this down and talk about it and see what we can do to stop comparing ourselves. Stop comparing what we do with others, how we look with others. Let's just stop that whole trap. But first, I got to add to your spiritual garden. And so I have a scripture here. As a matter of fact, I have two scriptures that I want to share with you that resonates with our topic today. And the first one is Galatians chapter 6, verses 4 and 5. And it says, each of you must examine your own actions. Then you can be proud of your own accomplishments without comparing yourself to others. Assume your own responsibility. Powerful. And I have another one. And it's from Romans. I'm sure you heard this before, but this is from Romans chapter 12, verses 2. And it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. And so, you know what? And as I'm reading that, and I've read it before, and when we talk about do not conform to this world, in many ways we have to, because we have to live here, and we have to just go with the flow of life. Of course, we live here. This is our habitat, and so we have to do that. But I believe it means more of a moral issue, morals, your values, that you're not consumed with these patterns of the world, because it's all it's crazy. It's a crazy world out there. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're centered and we're grounded, and that we are actually leading our lives in a way that God will want us to. And though we might fall short, I believe if we're intentional, we will reap those blessings that come from just trying to do the right thing and being the right people. Just trying to do right. I'm just trying to do right. I'm trying to be a pure sister. So think about that. So let's move on. And I want to talk to you, and I'm going to be flipping a lot because I had a lot of notes written down about comparison. And you know what? With comparison, I believe that it encompasses a lot of different things. And I know most people would say that it is talking about low self-esteem. And we don't want to think of ourselves as having low self-esteem, but I believe that a part of that is having low self-esteem when we compare ourselves with someone else. I did have a different, and I'm going to be going back and forth here. Think about this now. Comparison is a natural way of placing ourselves in society. because we live amongst each other. And so, of course, we have someone to live next door and their line is looking good and we want to have our line looking good. It's like a unity thing, like we really want to fit in. And I believe that's natural. I just think that after a while, it starts to be unhealthy. And so that's the part that I'm talking about. Some parts of being comparing yourself to others is healthy. If you see someone that's accomplishing a great deal, you could kind of do some self-evaluation and say, hey, what can I do in my journey? What can I do to elevate myself? Wow, I saw how they went to school. I saw what they did. Maybe I can try that, or maybe I could try it in another way that fits my goals. And so that part of comparison is healthy. That part of comparison is motivating. It's inspiring. It helps us get to a different level. It helps us to grow. So, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the unhealthy part of comparing ourselves. And I believe we've all went down that road at one time or another. Okay. So, and I already talked about the pros. Gonna say cons, the pros of comparing ourselves. We know it pushes us to be better people. We see someone doing some great things, like, wow, they doing something great. Maybe that's something I can do, or maybe I can apply their energy and their motivation and their ambition to my goals. And so, yeah, let's think about that. But let's think about ways. Let's talk about ways that we can stop comparing, because what happens is when we do compare, it kind of zaps our own energy. It zaps our energy and it steals our joy, because we looking at someone else's life and we're wondering, what about me? What did I do so bad that I can't have what they have? So, and I'm going to share this story with you that was told to me, and it kind of blessed me. I guess you could say it did. It was a friend of mine who and you could recognize this too. When she saw her mom giving maybe her brother more food, let's say he got an extra chicken wing. Let's just say that, okay? Or something extra that maybe a sibling has gotten and that you didn't get. And so you're saying, well, why are you giving them more? Why are you giving them more than me? And I think we can all identify with that in one way or another. Someone is getting more than you. Oh, she had 2 cookies. Well, I get 1. You gave her 2. And so that comparison, is that a juvenile level? But you get what I'm saying? It's almost like, okay, I see what they have. Why don't I have that? Why didn't you give that to me? Why didn't I get the promotion? I'm comparing myself to that person. Why didn't I get that promotion? Why am I not looking like that other person? Okay, because that could really, as a woman, that could really kind of cause us to be, we'll be really frustrated. And we see it as that size 10 waist. And then we're thinking, man, why couldn't I'm comparing, wow, look at that. So yeah, think about that. But what her mother did, and this is a friend of mine who told me this story. She said her mother said, as she was doing it, and she might have done it more than one time, where her mother said, look, her mother thinking to herself, I think I need to show her in a different way. So her mother went to the kitchen, and she fried a whole pack of bacon. And she had bacon and eggs and pancakes. And apparently it was a lot of food. And so what she did was she set the plate in front of her daughter. And she said, here, I gave you this and I want you to eat it. And so her daughter, of course, is saying, I can't eat all of that. That's too much food. No, I can't eat all of that. And so her mother said, I don't want you to ever think that I don't love you. I don't want you to ever think that I'm thinking less of you just because I might give something extra to someone else. It's not a measure of my love for you. Look at this food in front of you. This is too much. Do you see that, honey? It's too much. You can't handle this. Ooh, Bless my heart. And she told me this story. I'm looking at this box. You cannot handle this. And so I think it was a lesson that her mother, I think she was very clever, her mother doing it that way, to show her that I love you. Just because I might give your siblings something more from time to time, it doesn't diminish my love for you. There's a reason for it, and so when she told me that, I was thinking about the other things in our life too, where God might bless someone else abundantly at that specific time. And we're thinking, why didn't I get blessed like that? Where was God with me? Why am I not getting those type of things? But it's only because you might not be ready for it. God might be grooming you. God might be just taking you through some lessons and growth and transformation so that you can get your blessing in your way. It's not going to be the same as that person's. It's going to be the way that God has fit for you. And I believe if you look back and look at the blessings that God has for you, they were specifically for you. They were specifically planned for you. There's a scripture that says, our plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, but plans to give you hope in a future. So think about that. Things that are for you are for you. And so I think if we remind ourselves about this, then we won't be comparing ourselves, not as much. It has to be an intentional thing. It has to be an intentional thought process that when we do compare, and we all do. I know I do. We all do. And I'm going to be transparent with you for a little bit. But God blessed me with the house, and so I'm moving in this house. And so, as I'm looking for the other house, I'm looking for the houses. Before I found this one, I wanted a big, huge house. I have 2 friends that have big, beautiful, huge houses. And so I'm looking, but come on, I have to be real, right? I have to be real. Like, I can't afford the big house, but that's what I want. That's what I want. God, please bless me with a big, beautiful house and all these things that I want inside. So the house that I end up getting is on the small side. I mean, it's a nice house, but it's smaller than what I envisioned. But it's a house that I feel comfortable with the payments. I feel it is all beautiful inside. It's all new. And some of the rooms are smaller than what I wanted, but that's okay. And so now I went through that comparison. I went through thinking, man, what are they going to say when they come over to see my little house compared to their big house? I don't know. I'm just telling myself this. I got this smaller house, much smaller than theirs. They got these nice big houses, big. And look at my small house. And I had to say, Katrina, snap out of it. God has blessed you with this house. And this is just such a beautiful experience that you're going through right now. And it's a beautiful blessing. And you need to be grateful. And I had to remind myself, it's not about comparing myself to them, but it's about accepting the blessing that God has for me. And so, I don't know, this is kind of petty for me. But as I'm being transparent, it was real. I was thinking about that. I wanted a big house. And then you know what? I'm thinking maybe I wanted to be maybe for show, so people could say, "Wow, look at this big house." And and then that status thing, it's almost like a validation that, man, look at you and being, people admiring that, all that. So I had to really dig deep to really find out, why am I thinking like this and not accepting this beautiful house that God has for me? It's okay. It's the reason why I have this house. It's the reason why I'm here. So I had to go through that. And so it might be like you, that you would compare yourself. It's not, I think with me and my other friends, it's not that I was jealous of them. It's just like, oh, I want a big house like that. I want something like that, right? I want that promotion like my friend got, or this my coworker got. I want that nice car like my neighbor has. That comparison, that's what I'm talking about. And when we focus on that, what we don't have, or we want something that someone else has, it steals our joy, it zaps our energy, and it's very unhealthy. And so that is what motivated me to share with you today. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of that comparing ourselves with others. And so I have written down some notes, and these are some ways that you can stop comparing yourself with other people. Now, it is a flow of life. We live in this society, so we're going to be sizing ourselves up with each other. But we could be intentional where we can stop it in our tracks when we start not feeling good enough. Not feeling good enough when we're looking at someone else. You know what? And ladies, let's be real. And before I go on, let's just say you ended a relationship, right? And you all know about my past, that I got divorced, and you're thinking about the other woman. And you're thinking about how she looks better than you, and how she might have something better than you going on because he chose her, right? And so you're thinking that, it's something wrong with you and you're not enough. I want you to know, and I'm telling you, and please take this to heart, that there's nothing wrong with you. She can be tall, a model looking woman, big booty, big breasts, I don't know. All these aesthetics that we constantly admire, or what the world deem as something that's important. Her hair could be down to her ankles. I don't know. She could have, no wrinkles, flawless skin. I'm just going through the whole array of sometimes what we think. And I know a lot of women, they drive themselves crazy because it's like, who did he pick after me, or who did he leave me for? And so I want you to know that you're enough. That is just something that he's going through. It doesn't mean that you're not enough. Whatever it is that you look like, you are enough because God made you uniquely. And we all come to this world with something very beautiful and special inside of us. And you know what? It's this whole thing with society telling you how to look and and all of that. You be you, however it is that you want to be, and be that classy, beautiful woman that you are, and just maintain your morals, maintain your relationship with God. And that is what is important. That relationship you have with God, that's important. Not about what his girlfriend look like, and he's gone with somebody else, and she looks like this, and all of that. We have to just be able to step back, analyze, and think about that, what we're thinking, and then just kind of move on. But let's be human. Of course, it's going to come across our thought process. But I want you to know that you are enough. I don't care how she look. I just know that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's not the end all be all because he got her. That's not the end all be all of you. That doesn't mean that you're any less. And I'm telling you this because I had to go through that process, okay? So think about that. And then too, ladies, we have to really start adding more value to our character, adding more value to us internally, our morals, our values, our character, how classy we are. That's what we have to just really try to build, okay, within ourselves, all right, so that we're going to be the whole total woman, the full whole woman, not just the outer appearance. And we're going to have our little stuff going on, right? But we want to make sure that internally that we're good, solid people, that we have good hearts, and we at least we try to do the right thing, right? And then in the eyes of God, we know we don't want to stray from that, right? Okay. We don't want to stray from that. Okay. So let's move on. I know some things I had to say to you, but let's move on and talk about ways that we can stop comparing. Okay. So one thing that we want to do, we want to focus on our own separate journey. No one's journey is different. no one's journey is the same. Okay, I want to tell you a story, and I think I said this in one of my other episodes. It's about a lady who walked in a salon, and she just looked all jazzy. And then some ladies were sitting there, and you know how we do. I don't know why women are like that, but we're looking at her like, she thinks she all of that. She thinks she all of that. You know, we do that. I ain't gonna say we, because I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not. I'm not looking at you saying you think you all that. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I like them shoes. Ooh, the outfit is really nice, you know. So think about that. Think of this scene. She walks in, Lay's looking at her like, and she's walking in, and she just looking good, and she's getting her hair done. As she's sitting there getting her hair done, the stylist, she's talking to the stylist, and so this is the thing she's telling the stylist. I had breast cancer. I had breast cancer in 2 of my breasts. I am so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to be alive. And I'm just living my life. I'm traveling. I'm living my life because I didn't know what was going to happen, when I found out I had breast cancer. This woman's journey is that she had breast cancer and she was a conqueror. And she's looking at the world in a whole different way. Whereas you comparing yourself, and I'm sure the women who were waiting, they comparing themselves because they turn up their nose saying she thinks she all that. But can you imagine she conquered that? And so of course her walk is going to be like, I am proud. I am so glad to be alive. I'm feeling good. Can you imagine that? It's like, I'm glad to be alive. I'm grateful. And so I can imagine how she walked in that salon. She was going to get her hair done. And then after that, she had plans, and she just looking at life in a whole different way. But then they're looking at her comparing. They comparing what she has on to what they have on. And then that jealousy creeps up, but they don't know her journey. And so that brings me to say, focus on your journey. When you're thinking about comparing someone to you with someone else, you don't know what their journey is like. You don't know what they had to go through. You don't know. We don't know. People, you can't see it from the outside. You can't see it. You can't see what's going on inside. You don't know what happened to them in the past. You don't know. It's unfair to compare your progress to someone else's. That's unrealistic. You don't know their progress. You don't know what's going on. And so think about that. Focus on your journey, what you want to do, what you want to be. Okay, that takes a lot. That takes so much time that I can't even think about you because I have so much going on in my life. I got to get myself together, right? Think about that. All right. Also, the positive influences in your life. Mom always said what? You are the company you keep. And so we tend to be like the group that we hang around. So think about that. And you know what, beautifully seasoned women, we know this. Who are the women that you are around? Are they positive? Are they lift you up? Do they encourage you? Are they sitting around talking about people? Or she thinks she all of that, or I don't know. Telling you different stuff. Already we got to be our own self, and we want to be around people who are motivating, encouraging, and we want to be around that. So think about that. Another way that we can stop or at least diminish our need or our habit of comparing ourselves to others is by celebrating your accomplishments. No matter how small, it will help you build confidence. And so let's just say, I'm trying to think of something really small. I don't know why this popped in my head, but I want to get my car detailed. And every time I get my car detailed, I just think it's an accomplishment. I just do. That's just one thing. And I know it's just a service. But when I get my car detailed, I look at that as accomplishment. And it's smelling good. Smell like new in the car. Everything's clean. But I made that step to get it done and then stop procrastinating. And that's just a task. But I do I do feel good about that. Let's say it's losing weight. If you want to lose weight or you want to be a little bit more healthy, that is a accomplishment. Let's say you went to school, back to school, and you got your master's, doctor's degree, bachelor's degree. That's an accomplishment. Anything could be accomplishment as far as a goal that you want to achieve. And we have all kinds of goals. I mean, my goal might not be like yours. Your goal might not be like mine. So it's all in what you want to accomplish. It is so funny that I found a list of goals the other day, and these goals was from 2020, and I wrote them down. And since I'm moving, I'm going through it, and I'm just going through papers and everything. So I see my goal list, and I had 8 things on there, and I did 4 of them. I accomplished 4 of them. I was like, wow. And one of them was buy a house. And so now that's what I'm doing. So isn't that cool? That is so wonderful. And so, yeah, think about that. Your accomplishment. That's going to help you build your self-confidence. Whatever, even the small ones. You have to celebrate yourself. You did it. Remember I told you about traveling to Hawaii? I did it. That is accomplishment right there. Traveling alone. Come on now. I ain't even think. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be transparent here. I didn't think I could really do it. You know what? Get on a plane, go somewhere, and just enjoy myself and just meet new people like that. No. But I did. And so that was a sense of accomplishment. I also, when I went back to school, sense of accomplishment. When I wrote my book, standing inside myself, that was accomplishment. So we have to really pay attention, not for other people for that accomplishment, but for you to recognize it. I've always wanted to do, a podcast. And so I finally did it. And so now I'm doing a podcast. And so that was a sense of accomplishment for me. It might not be important to anyone else, but I knew that was something in my mind that I wanted to do. And at the time that I thought about it, it was like, I didn't know what to do. It's like, how do I do that? And I don't think I had a message then. But since, I went through my divorce, I'm going to say it, and all these feelings and everything, and I really want to get those out and share, and then I start sharing all these other topics and everything, and that's when I created Beautifully Seasoned. So yeah, think about that, celebrating your achievements. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's limit social media. Now, you know what? When they created social media, I don't think they intended it to be where it really works on your self-esteem and you feeling horrible after you look at it. I believe it was just a vehicle where you just connecting with other people. But now it has gotten into the psyche of a lot of people and is making them feel bad about themselves. So I would suggest you limit that social media. And instead of scrolling, how about connecting? Hey, how you doing? What's up? What you been up to? How about that? I haven't talked to you in a while, So think about that. Just connecting with someone. But social media, it could be very, it's not based on reality, I think. Because we know when we take the selfies, right? It has to be a perfect picture. They have ways to alter the picture to make the picture look different. People can alter their bodies. You could see this beautiful beach and this person is at this beach and you thinking, wow, why can't I go on a vacation like that? And you start feeling bad about it because you're comparing yourself. If somebody has a significant other and this person bought them a car or something, you're thinking, wow, that's wonderful. Look how happy they are. Why can't I be that happy? So that social media, I think it's good for people to put things out there, but I think it does work on your mind because that's a big thing with a big reason why we compare. ourselves to the, to people, because we're looking at their lives and their lives seem so perfect. And we know, beautifully seasoned women, no one's life is perfect. We know that. And so, but we get wrapped up into that. We get wrapped up into all these messages. Social media is just like, it's overwhelming. It's so much information out there. It's just so much messages and videos and things like that. And it could really wear you down. It could really make you feel depressed. And a lot of people have been. It's been tested and researched that people feel depressed sometimes because they're comparing themselves to these images, this perfection, and and then they're thinking, why can I be like that? Why can I have these things? What's wrong with me? Why can I have this? And that's not the fact. We all have our own journey. And I don't put on social media everything I do. So do you? Do you put on everything? Does that mean you're not doing it because it's not posted on social media? So yeah, I'm sure you having fun too. I'm sure you're doing great things too. I'm sure you eating wonderful meals too, but you're not posting everything. And so we have to really be mindful of that. And I would suggest that you limit your social media. If you know that's making you feel bad, just don't look at it as much. If you think it's making you feel depressed and you feeling not good enough, I would just kind of, let me just take a break. And practicing gratitude. That's what I had to do with my house. I'm like, look, I don't care who come here or whatever. This is my house. This is something I work for. This is something I put together. And I am so grateful. And everything in my life I'm grateful for. And so I think that if we practice gratitude instead of comparing ourselves to that person, we'll look at our lives and say, man, I'm grateful for what I have. God has blessed me for our house. We all have had blessings. So we need to maybe reflect on that and think about, oh no, I had a blessing here, I had a blessing there. I got this, I have that. Oh, God did this and he opened this door for me. I remember this. I remember when God did this and that, and not focus so much on how is our blessing compared to their blessing, or for some reason we feel they got a bigger blessing. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I did find out is that a lot of people with money, they're not as happy as you think. And sometimes we think, man, if I had as much money as they did and I had this big beautiful house, that's not all what happiness is when you think about it. Happiness comes from within, and it's happening to people around you who love you and care about you. And then what happiness comes from, to me, just knowing that God is with you and that you're never alone. It's like that protection you feel, that God is with you and he loves you, and that he's going to bless you, and he has blessed you. And just think about the things we don't know that he blessed us with. The times that things could have happened when they didn't happen. And so when we practice gratitude, I believe too, it's that we draw more and we attract more blessings in our life, because we're not focused on what we're lacking. We're focusing on what we have already. And we're like, wow, I'm glad I have this. I'm so glad. And you know what? We're going to praise people who do have who do have that. I remember, and I kind of do this now. Sometimes when we're taking pictures, I keep saying, oh, I'm not photogenic. I'm not photogenic. I'm telling you, I don't even know how I'm doing this video right now. Because this is like, I'm my own worst critic, And when I have a friend, and so we're all taking pictures, and at one point I was like, I don't look right in this picture, because I'm looking at their pictures and I'm looking at my picture. I'm like, oh, I don't like my picture. I just don't take good pictures. I just stop. Whatever that picture look like, that's me. That's really me. So whatever that picture look like, I'm through with it. I can't do that. I'm through with it. As far as someone looking better, yeah, maybe I feel they look good, but I know I bring some stuff to the table too. So I bring some stuff to the table too, and so it's okay. So think about that. When you're comparing, if you tend to compare yourself with other people, and those are the ways that you can kind of maybe get yourself back, come back to yourself, so that you can, get your power back. Get your power back. Because I think the main thing is that we all want to be validated. We all want someone to say how wonderful and beautiful and great we are. And, we looking at that other side of that other person. And we really want to, I think we just want validation. And we want love. That's it. I think everybody wants love in some way. That's validation. That you're okay. That you're doing good. But sometimes we might not get that. And so we just must just go on ahead with our journey. Just whatever that journey is that you have in your mind, the goals that you have. Okay? I had a couple of quotes that I wanted to say before we go. And I thought that they really resonated really well with this topic. This is one. A flower does not think of competing to the flower next to it. It just blooms. So when you think about that, think about a flower. We all different flowers. There's tulips and roses and all orchids and all these different flowers. And they're all beautiful. And so one might bloom one time, and then the other one might bloom another time. Maybe last is going to be the rose. The rose is going to bloom. But does that mean the rose any less beautiful? No. They just have their own time. They have their own time to bloom. And so it can't be any sooner. But the tulips might be first. It's okay. But they're all around each other. They're all beautiful. They're just blooming maybe at different times. And so, yeah, that blessed me when I read that. And so here's another one. Don't compare yourself to others. You have no idea what their journey is all about. We talked about that, the woman in the salon, right? We don't know. You don't know my journey. I don't know your journey. And it's so funny that the person that I was talking to, she was just saying, and like Katrina, you get in this house and it's just like, I'm comparing, I'm like, no, please don't do that. Please don't. Because, I have my own journey to go to get to this point too. And you can do it too. I ain't the only one to buy in the house. Anybody can buy a house. You just got to focus and get your money together and make a plan up. And so please don't. I don't want anybody to compare themselves to me. I'm just regular. I'm regular, So there's many people out there that are fancier, prettier, and richer, and bigger houses. Remember, I want that big house, and they have all these things. So I just have to be grateful for what God gave me and what He's blessing me with, and that is important to me. I think that might be it with my quotes. I thought, I think that is it. I think that's it. You are going to be rid of me. As far as the back to the comparison, I also wrote here, recognize your triggers. So think about, what triggers you when you're comparing. What is it? And I think sometimes if we do that self-reflection, we can kind of tap into that. Was it someone saying in your past that you wasn't good enough? We can't take their thoughts and their perception of you. You can't take those about you. You can't do that. How about if that's your perception of me, then you have it right, but that's not how I feel about me. We have to fight through that. Especially if you've been rejected. Like I said, the girl, your man, and you looking at her like, wow, how did she get there? And how, she looked better than me. And you know how we get. You got all you need. You got all you need inside of you. You got all the beauty that you need. You got it. I don't care if you're big, fat, little, small, tiny, tall, short. I don't care. You have beauty all around you and inside of you. So work on getting you together internally. And then you work on getting a little outside together too. But work on you. and just focus on what God is giving you and not on what God is giving everyone else. You're not looking and gloating about what their lives is like. It's like, oh, that's really nice. You went to Bora Bora. I'm going to make it to Bora Bora real soon too. But wow, tell me about your trip to Bora Bora. I want to hear all about it. But I'm not comparing myself. I want to hear about it. I want to celebrate with you. It's okay. But maybe one day I'll get to go. If that's what I want to do, I'm going to go. If that's what I want to do. So think about that. Let's have a balanced way of thinking. That balanced way of thinking is I'm going to be on my goal. I might see you doing that and it's like, wow, that's really cool, but it's not affecting my self-esteem, and so that's when it becomes unhealthy. Okay, I think that is it for me today. Thank you for joining me on Beautifully Seasoned. Don't forget, please share, please subscribe. I could really use your support. Like I said, I really want to share some wisdom that I have inside of me with you. And a lot of this stuff we know already, but there's nothing wrong with talking about it sometimes. Don't forget my book, Standing Inside Myself, A Journey of Self-Love, Wisdom, Power, and Purpose. And you know what I forget to talk about is my app, my girls app called Mind Charms. And it's a girls app. It's girl affirmations for girls to lift them up, to get them into thinking and programming their mind about more positive things. It has videos on there as well. So look up my app, Mind Charms, and share it with a girl. I think it's between 9 and 12. Maybe, yeah, but you might could go earlier. You know, hey, they got apps for kids at 3, so you know, but they can't read yet. But you know, just share it with someone. And then, you know, this is also from a podcast. Even though I'm on YouTube, my podcast is anywhere on Spotify. You can find my podcast, and you can find it any other podcast platform. So please support me there. And my website is www.beautifullyseasonedyou.com. And so check that out. I have articles on there that you might find interesting. And so go ahead and check that out too. So thank you for joining me today, beautifully seasoned women. You are wonderful. You are beautiful. And you know I'm going to say that prayer for you, that prayer I got from Joel Osteen. I'm going to just keep on because I love it. And I hear that you love it too. You are blessed, prosperous, redeemed, forgiven, talented, motivated, valuable, free, determined, equipped, empowered, anointed, accepted, and approved. You not average, sis, and you not mediocre. You are a child of the Most High God, and you will become all you was created to be. In Jesus' name, amen, amen. I pray that for you, sis. I really do. Subscribe if you get it, if you have it on YouTube. If not, you have it on Spotify, any other platforms, please share it. Thank you for joining me, and you know I'm going to be talking to you next time. I'll see you then. Goodbye.